y'all gather round, I got a tale to tell about old Farmer John Huff and his critters as well. From cows to the chickens, pigs, and the geese, a farm full of fun and a whole lot of peace. Yippee-ki-yay, it's a hillbilly song, laughing and joking all day long. Merle the Bigfoot is wild and free, in these woods, y'all, is where he be. Frank from the city, he rolled on in, saying he's building a house just for the hunting. But old John just grinned, poured him a brew, said, son, I got stories and I got a few. Yippee-ki-yay, it's a hillbilly song, laughing and joking all day long. Merle the Bigfoot is wild and free, in these woods, y'all, is where he be. One night Frank saw eyes in the dark. He ran like a raccoon, scared stiff as a bark. Merle was smiling, shaking the trees, big old Harry laughing at Frank's plea. So remember, folks, in this country life, a little dirt critters and a good old strife. But don't be scared if you hear a loud cheer, it's just old Merle making sure you're here. Yippee-ki-yay, it's a hillbilly song, laughing and joking all day long. Merle the Bigfoot, he's wild and free, in these woods, y'all, it's where he be. Well, Trigger, sit yourself down and let me tell you a tale about a feller named John Huff, the king of the woods, and a whole heap of funny, crazy stuff that happened way out yonder on the farm. Now, this here story's as true as a cow's got horns, but I reckon a little bit of it's taller than a giraffe on a pogo stick. So, you know, hold on tight, 'cause it's gonna get wild. Well, son, you know old Farmer John Huff, he's the king of the woods round these parts, 4th generation farmer, living the good old country life with 50 dairy cows, 50 beef cattle, pigs, chickens, ducks, geese, turkeys, guinea fowl, and a mess of other critters. His farm's so full of life you'd think the critters was running the place. Coyotes, deer, raccoons, skunks, foxes, groundhogs, and even the occasional bald eagle swooping down to snatch a chick or two. And old John's barn, well, it's got more wild animals than a zoo. Mice, weasels, and raccoons that steal eggs and cause all sorts of trouble. It all started one fine morning when old Farmer John Huff was sitting on his porch, rocking in his chair, chewing tobacco, strumming his banjo, and aiming at a spit tune out of nowhere. A fancy car rolled up, probably some city slicker, thinking he's better than us country folk. Out jumps this big old fat man, name's Frank, but I call him Fat Frank. Saying he bought some woods right next door and was fixing to build himself a fancy house so he could hunt deer and listen to crickets all night. Now John, being the hospitable sort, invites him to sit down, have a beer, and shoot the breeze. Frank's in a hurry, says he's got to cut trees to make a driveway for his shiny new fancy car, John. Being the wise old country boy, says, come on, Frank, just have one beer and I'll tell you about living in the country. After a good old chat and a few beers, John leaned in real slow-like and said, Frank, I gotta tell you about my friend Merle. Now Merle's a big-foot, big hairy feller, walks around these woods like he owns them. He's got eyes like fireflies and he laughs so loud it'll wake the dead. One night I saw him sneaking around my barn, laughing and shaking the trees. That's Merle, the king of the woods. Frank just looked at him, squinting real hard like he was trying to see something that wasn't there. John, you expect me to believe in some hairy monster running around the woods? That's just a story you tell the little ones to scare them. John chuckled, taking a sip of his beer. Well, now, Frank, I ain't saying Merle's no more real than a moonbeam on a cloudy night, but I've seen him more times than I can count. He's a good friend of mine. He's got a sense of humor, too. Once he snuck into my hen house and swapped the eggs for pebbles, tried to pull a fast one, he did. Frank shook his head, smiling skeptically. John, I ain't never seen no Bigfoot. That's just some hillbilly fairy tale. You're just trying to waste my time with stories. John grinned, playing with his banjo strings. Well, Frank, if I had $1 for every time someone said that about Merle, I'd be a rich man. But I tell you, he's as real to me as this here banjo. One night if you'd come out in the woods with me, I bet you'd see him. Though I reckon you'd probably run faster than a jackrabbit on a date. Frank just chuckled and shook his head. Yeah, sure, John, and I suppose next you'll be telling me Santa Claus is real too. John just laughed. Now, Frank, you never know, sometimes the truth's stranger than fiction, but I promise you Merle's a good friend, even if he's got more hair than a raccoon's backside. John squints at Frank and says, well, looky here, Frank, you look plumb scared already here. Take a sip of this there water, but I warn you, it's got a smell that knock a buzzard off a manure pile. It's good for you, though we call it hard water. It's got more minerals than a mountain's got rocks. Frank eyes the water, sniffs it like a bloodhound and goes, why in tarnation does it smell like rotten eggs? John busts out laughing and says, that's just how we do round here, boy. This water's been from the same well since before I was born, and probably before my greats. You get used to it or you'll be burping sulfur and iron till next Christmas.
Well, now over the next 6 months, old Frank went and built him one of them fancy shinty houses and hauled his butt out yonder to the woods, living the country life. But I tell you what, that man ain't never satisfied. Sure enough, he kept on complaining something fierce.
Said the dirt road was as rough as a cob, his car was rusting faster than a pig in a mud puddle, cause of all that calcium chloride they spray on the roads, and that smell from the farm was making him sicker than a dog with a mange. He whined so much, you'd think he was trying to outcrow a rooster at dawn. Heck, he whines so much, I swear he's fixing to hang himself with his own dang shoelaces just to get some peace and quiet. Ain't no stopping that man, he's got a whine for every occasion and then some. One night Frank was marching back from his barn, nervous as a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs, when he heard a rustling in the bushes. His lantern shook in his hand as he saw two big eyes peeking at him. His heart pounded like a drum, and he hollered, who's there? Show yourself, you varmint. Out stepped Merle, the legendary Bigfoot of these woods, big as a barn, hairy as a grizzly and smiling like he just played a prank. But Frank, he didn't see no friendly face. He saw a monster freaked out worse than a goat in a dog pen. He screamed, turned tail, and ran faster than a jackrabbit in a hurry. He ran all the way home, slamming the door, and hid under his bed. His wife, she saw him acting crazier than a raccoon in a trash can, and said, Frank, you look like you seen old Merle himself. That night Frank had nightmares about Bigfoot Merle sneaking in his house, laughing and shaking the walls. Next morning Frank's wife packs her bags real slow like, and tells him, Frank, you's nuttier than a pecan pie at a county fair. If you do that dang fool thing one more time, I'm out of here faster than a squirrel chasing an acorn, and I'll head back to our stinking city hole. Old Frank, he gets plumb scared and all confud-like, figuring he's losing his mind from all the racket of critters and farm noises, like a chicken chasing its tail till it's dizzy. So he goes and checks himself into the loony bin, thinking maybe he's gone plumb crazy from all the barnyard commotion. And here's where the whole thing gets even funnier, y'all. Not long after Frank got out of the loony bin, one dark and spooky night, old Merle the Bigfoot come back. This time, to pay Frank a visit, Frank was walking home, nervously peeking over his shoulder like a raccoon at a trash fire, when he hears a big rustling and a grunt right behind him. Sure as shooting, out of the shadow steps old Merle, hairier than a grizzly bear in a moss patch, eyes glowing like fireflies on a hot summer night, smiling like he's just pulled a fast one on old Frank. Frank's blood ran colder than a frozen pond, and he lost his mind worse than a squirrel in a nut warehouse. He yells, ah! Get away, you big hairy monster, and takes off running faster than a chicken chasing a fox. He runs straight into his house and hides under the bed, screaming like a banshee on a moonshine bench. His wife sees him acting crazier than a coon hound. chasing its tail, and says, "That's it, Frank, I'm done. You so scared of old Merle, you done gone plumb crazy in the head." And wouldn't you know it, Frank was so scared and scatterbrained, he checked himself into the nut house again, all cause of Bigfoot Merle. That's how mighty scared that hairy giant made him, y'alls. Now to lighten the mood, John whipped up a little song about Merle, and I reckon it went something like this. Oh, Merle, Bigfoot of the woods, he's got more hair than a herd of mules. He laughs and roars, he stomps and snorts, he's the wildest thing in these here parts. He's got big feet and a big old grin. If you see him, best run, don't sin. He's just our friend from the forest deep, but Frank's too scared to even peep. And Trigger, the moral of this crazy story is,
don't judge no critter till you've seen their dance.
and don't be complaining about the country life. You might just meet a Bigfoot, and that ain't no lie. So there you go, son, that's the tale of John Huff, Fat Frank, and old Merle, the wild, hairy, laughing legend of the woods. Now next time you hear something rustle in the bushes, just remember it might be Merle, or it might be something even funnier. And that Trigger is the honest to God truth, as crazy as a bag of cats. And that Trigger is the honest to God truth, as crazy as a bag of cats. And when fiddling with fiddle and banjo country music, musical style evolved from jittery honky-tonk to more mellow sound banjo. If you're looking for a life all clean and neat, stay in the city where the dirt don't greet. Out here on the farm we got mud up to our knees, critters in the barn and critters in the trees. Love what you got, don't fret or fuss, a little dirt and noise is part of the plus. And if you hear a rustle or see big hairy face, that's just Bigfoot inviting you to the wildest place. Don't judge no critter till you see their dance, and don't go whining about country life. You might just meet a Bigfoot, and that's no jive. Fears of Bigfoot are just stories we tell around the campfire by the glow of the smell. But I reckon if you run, you might miss the fun. Living in the country's a wild old run. Love what you got, don't fret or fuss, a little dirt and noise is part of the plus. And if you hear a rustle or see a big hairy face, that's just Bigfoot inviting you to the wildest place. Don't judge no critter till you see their dance, and don't go whining about country life. You might just meet a Bigfoot, and that's no jive. So don't be scared of a little mud and fuss, or a critter that's hairy, big and plus, cause life's too short to be squeaky clean. Join the farm life, it's a hootin' machine. Yeehaw! That's what we hold dear. Love what you got and don't be a crazy man, cause a wild hairy monster just might be part of the plan. So remember y'all, when life gets tough, embrace the dirt, the critters, and the rough, cause a wildlife's what makes it all worth living. And you might just find some new friends worth forgiving. Well, I'll tell you about old farmer John Huff. Lives on a farm where the critters are tough. 50 cows, pigs, chickens, and ducks. Critters run wild and they don't give a yeehaw. It's a wild, wild woods
where Bigfoot's laughing in the thickets and the woods. Frank's running scared, got his pants in a twist. In John Huff's land you can't dismiss. One morning John's sitting on his porch so slow, strumming his banjo, chewing on some tobacco. A shiny car pulls up, fancy as a king. Out jumps Fat Frank saying, I bought me some trees, you know that's my thing. Yeehaw! It's a wild, wild woods where critters and humans are misunderstood. Frank's whining about dirt and smelling fumes, while Merle's in the bushes making spooky tunes. John said, y'all, I got a buddy named Merle, Bigfoot with a laugh and a hairy, hairy tail. He snuck into my hen house, swap digs for some rocks. That Merle's a rascal, he sure knows how to fox. Yeehaw! It's a wild, wild woods where Bigfoot's joking and stirring up the goods. Frank's hiding under his bed in fright, while Merle's giggling in the moonlight. Now Merle's got a laugh that'll shake the trees. He's as funny as a clown at a county fair. He's got a big old beard and feet so large, if you see him coming, best duck in the yard. Yeehaw! It's a wild, wild woods where critters and legends are misunderstood. Frank's running round like he saw a ghost, while Merle's just laughing coast to coast. Frank seen Merle one night, eyes shining bright. He ran faster than a rabbit on a midnight flight. Hid in his house screaming, oh my old dear. Then he checked into the loony bin full of fear. But old Merle come back just to say howdy, big hairy grin and looking kinda rowdy. Frank lost his mind, ran out of town so quick that critter's got him scared, oh he's plumb sick. Yeehaw! It's the wild, wild woods where the critters are crazy, misunderstood. So next time you hear a rustle or a growl, it might be Merle just teasing y'all. Now Frank's wife, she's packing her bags real slow. Says, Frank, you're nuttier than a pecan pie show. If he keeps on fussing, she's out of here fast. Back to the city, leaving the farm at last. Yeehaw! It's a wild, wild woods where country folk laugh and do what they should. Frank's losing his mind, but we all know Merle's just laughing at the funny old show. So here's the moral loud and clear: don't judge a critter till you get near. Country life's funny, wild and true, and Merle's just laughing at me and you. Yeehaw! It's a wild, wild woods where legends are born and the humor's good. So next time you hear a rustle or a growl, just tip your hat to Bigfoot, he's the funniest old pal.
I've told you about old farmer John Huff, living on his farm with critters that's tough. 50 cows, pigs, chickens, ducks, and geese. Critters run wild and they do as they please. Yeehaw! It's a wild, wild wood where Merle's laughing and the critters are good. Frank's running round in a big old fuss, but Merle's just chuckling, come on y'all, no cuss. One morning John's sitting on his porch so slow, strumming his banjo, chewing some tobacco. A shiny car pulls in all fancy and bright. Out stepped Frank saying, I'm here for a fight. Yeehaw! It's a wild, wild wood where city folk come to do what they should. Frank whines about dirt, smell and noise, but Merle's in the bushes making his toys. John said, y'all, I got a buddy named Merle, big hairy fellow with a laugh that's a squirrel. He sneaks round the barn, shaking the trees. He's the king of the woods, if you ask me, geez. Yeehaw! It's a wild, wild woods where critters and legends are misunderstood. Frank's hiding behind his front door while Merle's laughing and making a roar. Now Merle's got a smile that'll make you grin. He's as funny as a clown at a country fair spin. He's got big feet and a beard so long, if you see him coming, you better hide or run strong. Yeehaw! It's a wild, wild woods where Bigfoot's joking and stirring the goods. Frank's running round like he's seen a ghost, while Merle's just laughing the most. One night Frank saw Merle with his own two eyes, big as a barn with hair to the skies. He screamed, ah! And ran like the wind. That critter's so funny, you just gotta grin. Yeehaw! It's a wild, wild woods where legends are born and
be friends again. So next time you hear something in the trees, it might be old Merle shaking the leaves. Just tip your hat and don't be scared, 'cause Merle's a friend and he's funny and a hare. Hee-haw, it's the wild, wild woods, where the critters and folks misunderstood. So laugh at the tales and sing along, and remember old Merle's funny song.
Well, I've been hunting high and low in the north and south, looking for that Bigfoot, but he was nowhere around. Checked all the woods and all the hills, thought I'd lose my mind, till I had a bright idea, go where folks get their hair shine. Yeehaw! I went to the barber shop, looking for Bigfoot with a new dude top. Wanted him to trim his hairy chest, look his best so he'd pass the test. Oh, I searched for that hairy old feller, in all the towns I was a real yeller. Then I hopped on down to Tinseltown, heard there was a fella with a hairdo so crowned. Thought I'd find old Bigfoot all wild and hairy, but what I got was Hugh Jackman looking sorta scary. Yeehaw! I went to the Hollywood scene, hunting for that beast, if you know what I mean. But instead I saw a fella so small, Steve Carell's his name, and he's hairy but not tall. That little fur ball, he sure made me grin. Bigfoot's still out there hiding somewhere within. Then I bumped into a fella so grand, looked like he'd been to a hairy bandstand. Russell Brand, he's a wild one, I tell you true, furry from head to toe, and he's got quite the stew. Yeehaw! From Hasselhoff to Bradley, hairy dudes, they're all so madly. Kept on my search, I ain't no quitter, even when my pockets got a bit thinner. Moved to the Southwest 5 years gone by, ain't got a dime, but I ain't gonna cry. Found me a job in a fancy shoe store, like Carrie from Sex in the City, I wanted more. Yeehaw! I love my heels and my style, but something was missing, made me wanna smile. 'Cause in my heart I still had a dream, to find that beast, the hairy king. One day I looked up, just minding my work, and what do I see? A creature with a smirk. He was tall as Shaq, with hair all over, made my eyes pop out like I'd just seen a four-leaf clover. Yeehaw! That's Bigfoot, I swear to you. Got hair from his toes to his nostrils, yes siree. He ain't no flower, he's a hairy old guy, but I could tell deep down he's friendly as pie. So I reached out my hand, and what do you know? That hairy giant had a friendly glow. Fate brought us together, big and small, and I found me a pal, the best of all.
Yeehaw! I may never catch him, that's true, but I got a story that's funny and new. Bigfoot or not, he's a friend in my heart, and that's the funniest tale I could ever start.
day can darn fast, and I said, I don't have to rinse until you've had a chin-soup. Driving on the now and love, I'll list you all the move. Drive me on the now, you sweat your bullshit track. Baker on my metal wall, so let it on the moan. Drive it on the mountain now and listen to that song. Driving on the mountain now, I'll list you all the moan.
To ocean tree, making all my mom and all some money belong to me. Mom and on the mom and dad, I listen to my song. Driving on the mom and dad, I listen to on the morning.